7 reasons why they came back after you've gave them distance. Stoicism, modern stoic. Sometimes it takes losing you for them to finally see your worth. Welcome back to Blessing of Stoicism. Let's get real. When you pull back, they start to feel it. Deeply. Not right away, but it creeps in. The calls stop, the texts don't come. And suddenly your silence is louder than anything you ever said. You gave them space, not out of spite, but out of strength. You stopped chasing. You stopped giving your time, energy, and love to someone who only noticed it when it was gone. And that's when everything changed. Now they're wondering where that steady presence went. They feel the shift, like something solid slipped out of their life. They try to replace you, distract themselves, pretend it's nothing. But it's not nothing. It's the loss of someone real, someone valuable, someone who finally remembered his own power. This isn't about playing games. It's about standing in your truth, about letting them sit with the silence they never thought would come. Remember this. I am not a backup plan. I am the main event. Say it. Drop it in the comments. Claim it with your chest. Because when you step back with strength, that's when they start to come back with regret. Now let's get into the 7 reasons why they come back after you give them distance. Number 1, the shock of unexpected growth. Let's dive into the first powerful reason they come back after you've given them distance. The shock of unexpected growth. See, they thought you'd stay the same, predictable, always available. But instead of sulking, you evolved. You used the silence not to chase, but to build. You improved your body, your mindset, your confidence. And when you reappeared, stronger, calmer, more focused, it shook them. You shattered the version of you they thought they knew. Heraclitus said, "The only constant in life is change." And when you embrace that truth, you become someone they can no longer ignore. They start craving your presence, not out of comfort, but curiosity and awe. They ask themselves, when did this happen? That's what real growth does. It rewrites the story. Picture running into them months later. You look sharper, speak clearer, carry peace like armor. They're stunned. Because now you're the mystery. And people always chase what they no longer understand. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the core of this. You control your growth, not them. So here's the question. How are you shocking the world with your transformation? Share your journey in the comments. Let others see how a man reclaims his power. Remember, you're not growing to prove them wrong. You're growing to prove yourself right. Keep going. They'll come back. But by then, you might not even want them anymore. Number 2, the magnetic pull of self-sufficiency. Let's explore one of the most powerful forces in human connection, the magnetic pull of self-sufficiency. This isn't just a trendy concept or a clever phrase. It's a deeply rooted truth in human psychology, and one of the biggest reasons why someone who once took you for granted suddenly finds themselves thinking about you again, often when you least expect it. Picture this. You were once the emotional backbone in the relationship. The one who texted first, followed up, made sure everything was okay. The one who poured out energy, even when it wasn't reciprocated. But then something changed. You stopped chasing. You took a step back, not out of anger or resentment, but out of a quiet decision to invest in yourself. You started living your life not to be noticed, but to feel alive. And the moment you did that, you became more than just a familiar presence. You became a mystery. Modern life rewards those who are self-directed. In a world flooded with attention-seeking, the person who doesn't need to shout stands out the most. This is what Stoicism teaches us, that peace and power come from within. When you step into that power, people sense it. You're no longer that predictable figure, always available at their convenience. You've become someone who walks with purpose, speaks less, but says more and glows not from validation, but from inner growth. And let me tell you something. That shift doesn't go unnoticed. You might think they're not watching, but trust me. They feel the absence of the old you, and they're quietly drawn to the new version they can't quite define. You see, when you stop needing someone, they start needing you. And this isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming genuinely whole. Think of it like this. In a friendship where you were always the giver, the constant support, your worth became expected. But when you redirected that energy toward the gym, your goals, your joy, you disrupted the dynamic. Suddenly, the phone rings again. They want to catch up. They miss your presence. Why? Because you've become a living, breathing example of what it means to thrive on your own. And that, gentlemen, is more seductive than anything you could ever say. You walk into a room, shoulders relaxed, head high, radiating calm. You don't try to impress. You don't explain yourself. You're just you, and that's enough. People begin to ask, what's changed about him? The answer is simple. You've stopped running after the world, and now the world is slowly turning toward you. Even Friedrich Nietzsche captured this truth when he said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why is now anchored in your self-growth, not their approval. That's real power. So here's what I want you to remember. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean shutting people out. It means building yourself up so strongly that when others return, and they will, it's not because you begged, but because your presence now offers something rare: strength, peace, and purpose. You've become a man of gravity, and that gravity, it pulls in exactly what belongs. Stay on the path. Keep growing. Keep choosing you. Because the more you do, the more they'll wonder how they ever let you slip away in the first place. Number 3, the envy of your newfound confidence. They came back because they envied the man you became when you finally gave them distance. Let that sink in. You see, when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, justifying, apologizing for your worth, something powerful happens. You become untouchable. That confidence you've built in silence, away from their chaos, is not just noticed, it's felt, like a shift in the atmosphere. You're no longer the man who waited for texts, begged for time, or lived for crumbs of validation. You're the man who walks like he owns the ground beneath him. The man who speaks with calm certainty and doesn't need to prove a damn thing. They see it, they feel it, and deep down, it stirs something they didn't expect. Envy, not the bitter kind, but the kind laced with admiration, the kind that says, "I want what he has." You've become the version of yourself they never believed you'd evolve into. And now, they're haunted by the memory of who you were and the undeniable reality of who you are. You've become the storm they can't predict, the fire they can't control, the silence they can't ignore. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Your confidence is that revenge. It's not about arrogance, it's about power. Silent, steady, unshakable. When you stopped seeking their attention, you drew all of it. That's reverse psychology in motion. That's the law of power. You flipped the script without a word. They're craving you now because you became what they could never manipulate, a man who knows himself, a man who found peace in his own company. That kind of man? He's magnetic. He owns his space. He doesn't need anyone, but everyone wants to be around him. Because that level of self-trust, it's rare and irresistible. As Emerson once said, self-trust is the first secret of success. And now, success isn't just something you chase. It's who you are. If you're reading this and you're building that kind of confidence brick by brick, keep going. Don't slow down. Let them watch. Let them envy. Let them wish they had treated you differently. Your growth is the proof. Your silence is the message. And your power? It speaks louder than any words ever could. Comment below. My confidence speaks for itself. Then like, subscribe, and share this with a brother who's building his power back, because this is the Stoic path of the modern man. Number 4. The intrigue of unpredictability. Now listen carefully, because the fourth reason they come crawling back after you've given them distance is not about what you said, it's about what you didn't. It's the intrigue of unpredictability. There's a silent magnetism in becoming unreadable, and that right there, that's what stirs something deep in people. You see, for a long time they thought they had you locked down, predictable, available, always on call like a loyal soldier. You gave, you answered, you showed up without hesitation. But then you pulled back. You stopped offering every piece of yourself on demand. You chose yourself instead. And when you did that, you became a mystery they couldn't solve, and humans are wired to chase the unknown. As the great Oscar Wilde once said, the very essence of romance is uncertainty. When they no longer know your next move, you become the plot twist in their predictable routine. Suddenly, they're paying attention, not because you demanded it, but because they can't help themselves. Think about it. When you're always predictable, you're taken for granted. But when you shift, when you evolve, they start asking questions. Why isn't he texting first? Where has he been? Who is he becoming? That curiosity? It builds attraction. It's basic human psychology. We desire what we can't define. You've now stepped into the role of the unexpected. Just like a storm on a sunny day, you shake up their expectations. Real-world example. You were always the one organizing the weekend hangouts, right? Always first to check in, to say good morning. Now, you've stopped chasing. You're not rude, you're just different, focused, driven. You've been hitting the gym, taking trips, diving into books or hobbies you never had time for before. And now, they're left wondering what happened. That absence. It echoes louder than words. They check your online status, notice your silence, and suddenly, your unpredictability becomes the anchor of their curiosity. Alan Watts once said, "The only way to make sense of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." That's what you've done. You didn't just change, you took the lead. You became the rhythm others now struggle to keep up with. And here's the truth, gentlemen. Unpredictability is not about manipulation. It's about evolution. You are no longer seeking validation. You are walking your own path, and those who once overlooked you now crave the version of you they can't define. That's the power of being a modern Stoic. Calm, composed, unapologetically focused. So I ask you, what part of your life are you making unpredictable again? What new rhythms are you setting that keep others guessing? Drop it in the comments. Because when you become unpredictable, you don't just change how they see you. You reclaim your power, your presence, your mystery. And that, my friend, is how they come back. Not because you begged, but because you became unforgettable. Number 5, the realization of what they've lost. Let's talk about the fifth reason they come back after you've given them distance. The realization of what they've lost. This one hits hard because it's about that moment when they finally see your true value, but only after you're no longer there. You stepped back, not to punish them, but to protect your peace and focus on your own growth. While you were evolving, they were stuck in routine, assuming you'd always be there. But as the silence lingers and the days go by, they start to notice the emptiness. No more texts, no more laughter, no more support. At first, they brush it off, but eventually it creeps in. Life without you feels colder. Suddenly, they remember everything you did, how you listened, how you cared, how you stayed solid when things got tough. The absence becomes a mirror, showing them all the things they took for granted. Just like losing something valuable, regret sets in. They replay the good memories and realize they had someone rare. That's when they start to crave what they lost: your presence, your energy, your steady love. But now, they know they can't just walk back in. They have to prove they deserve a second chance. As the old saying goes, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. But the Stoic truth is deeper. When you remove yourself with grace, it forces others to see your worth, and that realization can change everything. Number 6, the desire to be part of your new journey. They came back because they felt something they didn't expect, the sting of being left out of your evolution. That's the 6th reason. When you pulled away, you didn't retreat. You ascended. You stopped begging for attention and started building a life so magnetic, it spoke louder than words ever could. You turned silence into strength, distance into discipline, and from afar, they watched. Watch as you transform from someone they once took for granted into a man of power, focus, and relentless purpose. You see, in modern Stoicism, we don't chase, we elevate. And in that elevation, we awaken something primal in others, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of missing the train that's finally moving without them. Like Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's what you did. You became the man others now want to stand beside, not out of love, but out of necessity. Because your life looks like a journey worth joining. Your aura is no longer predictable. You're the mystery. You're the momentum. You're the one writing the next chapter. And they're praying they still have a role. But here's the kicker. They know they can't just re-enter without leveling up. The old games won't work. Your standards have changed. Your silence has spoken. Your growth demands respect. That's the modern Stoic edge. You evolve so fiercely that others must evolve just to keep up. They crave relevance, but you're not offering it for free anymore. You've become the prize, the path, the adventure. So ask yourself, brother, what empire are you building right now? What kind of man are you becoming that makes the world turn back and say, I underestimated him? Drop a comment below. I choose my journey over their return. Subscribe now, because every day you delay your evolution is a day someone else catches up, and you're not here to compete. You're here to dominate. Number 7, the fear of losing you to someone else. One of the strongest reasons they come back after you give them distance is the fear of losing you to someone else. Not just missing you, but the fear that someone new will see the value they overlooked. You pulled back, focused on yourself, leveled up, and now you're glowing with purpose, and they see it, they feel it. That terrifying thought creeps in. What if someone else gets the version of you I took for granted? That's not just uncomfortable, it's a gut punch. Because now they're picturing someone else holding your hand, hearing your laugh, and building a future they thought could wait. It's not jealousy, it's realization. You're not replaceable. You're not average. You're a high-value man others would be proud to claim. And the more you grow, the more they feel the pressure to come back before it's too late. Modern Stoicism teaches us this: don't chase, don't react, just evolve. Because your growth speaks louder than any words. Stay focused, stay calm. Because when you become the man they fear losing, you'll never need to beg to be chosen. Final thoughts. You hold the power now. You hold the power now, and not because someone finally noticed your worth, but because you did. After giving them distance, they came back. Why? Because distance didn't diminish you, it magnified you. It showed them the shock of your unexpected growth, like a seed once overlooked that bloomed into something wild and untamed. Your self-sufficiency becomes magnetic, the kind of energy that draws others in without a word spoken. Your confidence, once doubted, now becomes enviable. The kind that silently says, I've built this strength from my own pain. Your unpredictability, it's no longer chaotic. It's intriguing, powerful, and alive. They suddenly realize what they've lost, not just a person, but a presence. And now, they crave to be part of your new journey, not because you need them, but because they need what you've become. There's a fear, too, the fear that someone else will see in you what they were blind to. But here's the thing. None of it matters if you don't recognize the power in your reflection. This isn't about revenge or making them regret. It's about reclaiming the man in the mirror. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And now, your thoughts are no longer filled with doubt or the echoes of someone who failed to see you. You're not a puppet dancing for their validation. You're not a placeholder waiting to be chosen. You were always the main event. They just couldn't handle the spotlight. So keep walking forward. Keep building a life that speaks in silence, a life so full of purpose and peace that your absence becomes a lesson. You're no longer playing games. Your presence isn't an option, it's a force. Say it with me. Feel it in your chest. I am not the same man you left behind. I am becoming stronger, wiser, and unforgettable. Say it again if you must. Whisper it. Shout it. Let your soul remember. And if this message hits something deep inside you, don't just scroll by. Smash that like button, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and drop a comment below with your truth. I am no longer their puppet. I know my worth, and I choose me. Share your story. Someone out there needs to hear it. Because this isn't just a script, it's your awakening. A call back to your power. A reminder that when they realize who you've become, they won't just crave you, they'll be haunted by the memory of who they let go. Keep rising, brother. The world needs your strength.